He's been firing up thousands of supporters before tonight's caucus. Every one of them will count, with a virtual three-way tie at the top of the Democratic race. Senator Barack Obama joins us now from West Des Moines. Senator, welcome to the show. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Hey. Thank you so much, Kiran. Great to talk to you.
Some of the latest polling in Iowa has you on top going into these final hours, but as we know, it all comes down to who turns out to vote. In fact, the Washington Post asked today, is Obama another Howard Dean, or can he actually bring the support and the excitement out to the caucuses? Are you expecting to win tonight?
You know, I'm expecting to do well. We've seen these enormous crowds as we travel across the state in this last week. And, you know, the weather's been brutal. So for these folks to be coming out just to hear a candidate at the last minute, it's doubtful that they're not going to go to caucus. And we've got a great ground game. But most importantly, I think the American people are just hungry and ready for change. We've been seeing it throughout this campaign. They want Republicans, Democrats, independents to come together to solve problems. And I believe that they're seeing in how I have conducted myself and what's taking place in our campaign, the possibility of breaking some of the gridlock and actually doing something about health care, actually doing something about energy policy, and bringing this war in Iraq to a close. So we feel good about our prospects tonight.
I even see behind you the poster that says Stand for Change, and that is what you've been running on. You've also been saying that people will see a new kind of politics. If you are elected president, Senator, what would be the first thing that you would change?
Well, the first thing I would change would be the habit of automatically pushing away the other party. I would bring folks together. I would bring my Joint Chiefs of Staff into a meeting to give them a new mission, and that is how would we phase down our involvement in Iraq in a way that's responsible and careful, but sends a message to the Iraqis that it's time for them to start taking responsibility on the ground for a political accommodation. And I would also then immediately convene a bipartisan group to start moving my health care agenda forward. I want every single American to have health care that is at least as good as the health care I have as a member of Congress. They pay my taxes, or they pay my salaries with their taxes. I think they deserve to be able to access health care that's affordable, and so that we can control costs and not break the budget.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You've been taking some heat from your other two top rivals, Senator Hillary Clinton as well as John Edwards. You have similar health care plans. However, theirs requires a mandate that everybody that all U.S. citizens get health care insurance. Yours does not, and they say that leaves 15 million uninsured. How would your plan tackle the problem of making sure that everybody who wants and needs health care has it?
Well, we do have a philosophical difference. You know, I believe that the reason people don't have health care is not because they don't want it, it's because they can't afford it. So what we do is we emphasize reducing the costs. If you don't have health care, you'll be able to buy health care. With my plan, no pre-existing conditions will exclude you from participating. And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums. We think that people will desperately go after an affordable health care plan. And we also say that for young people, that group between 21 and 25 that may not buy health care even though they can afford it, that they can stay on their parents' health care plan. If we do those things, we don't anticipate that there are going to be millions of people who are trying to avoid getting health care. We think people want it, they just can't afford it right now.
The question is then, how do you pay for it? By raising taxes?
Well, what we would do is very conservatively, we estimate that we can get about 100 to 150 billion dollars in savings every single year by emphasizing prevention, making sure that a person who's overweight is getting a dietitian as opposed to waiting till they have diabetes and require much more expensive treatments, making sure that children are getting regular checkups instead of going to the emergency room for asthma. So a big chunk of the spending for including people who don't have health insurance is going to be from making the system more efficient. We would then roll back the Bush tax cuts on the top 1% so that they'd go back to the rate they were in the 90s. We think that's fair, and we actually think that over time it will make for a healthier economy, better economic growth, and a better quality of life for the American people.
You announced yesterday that former Governor Jim Hodges will be joining your campaign as a national chair. Now, he runs a consulting group which offers, quote, highly effective lobbying services. You've talked and railed against lobbyists, saying they would not work in your White House. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, you know, Jim Hodges is the former governor of South Carolina. After we finish Iowa and New Hampshire and Nevada, we go down to South Carolina. Jim Hodges has not done lobbying related to anything that we're doing, but what he can do is provide us advice in terms of how to reach out in those southern states that are going to be so critical for this election. And I'm honored to have his support. He's a great public servant, greatly admired by the people of South Carolina, and it's indicative of the kind of coalition that we're putting together. People of every demographic group, people of every walk of life who recognize the need for big change in this country right now. That's what we think we can deliver.
Do you take a credibility hit, though, having a federal lobbyist on your working for you on your campaign?
No, keep in mind I don't take PAC money. I don't take federal lobbyist money. I'm the only candidate in this race who's actually passed laws to reduce the power of lobbyists. And so what we have said consistently is that lobbyists and special interests have not funded my campaigns. They won't run my White House, and they won't set the agenda in Washington. And I'm grateful that we've got the support of people like Jim Hodges, who I really think know what the American people are looking for. They want practical problem solving, and that's what we're going to try to offer.
Senator Barack Obama, great talking to you this morning. Hang in there, a few more hours to go. I can hear it in your voice. It's been a long haul, but good luck tonight. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Karen.